Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at the latest and biggest news possible for DBZ Dokkan Battle, and that is that the two versions, JP and the international version Global Dokkan, are going to be synchronized. So the two versions are going to be unified and put together, and we are finally all going to be playing the same version of Dokkan. This has huge knock-on effects in a lot of ways, lots positive, some negatives, and we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about when I think it will happen. For those who don't know, or maybe were unaware, Global Dokkan or JP, Japan, and the rest of the world have different versions of DBZ Dokkan Battle. Now, the global version, the one everyone that's outside of Japan plays, has always been 6 months behind the JP version, roughly, give or take. JP had its anniversary in January, Global has its anniversary in June or July. Now, a lot of the times over the years, they've been kind of trying to cut down on the amount of difference between the versions. Sand Days become a joint celebration, Superheroes is joint, New Year's is joint, Worldwide Celebration is joint, and Golden Week is joint. So you can kind of see that they're really trying to unify them in that way. And I think now they're ready to obviously finally bring the two versions together, which is obviously very, very important. Now, when it comes to the knock-on effects to Global Dokkan, there's a couple of them. So the first and the most obvious effect is that Global Dokkan will no longer have the ability to have some foresight onto future banners. So right now, global players can always kind of see the next 2 or 3 units, generally speaking, and that gives them some idea of what to save for, what not to save for, what's going to be good, what isn't going to be good. You know, for example, when Raditz came out, everyone knows it's going to come out on Dokkan, the global, so then they know to skip it or to not skip it. And this has been an advantage, especially if you're a free-to-play player. It's been a great way to, you know, kind of skip units and save stones and have some kind of stone management and stone management foresight. But it's also removed a little bit of the excitement. You know, when you see anniversary units, some players have seen them 6 months ago, you know, which is pretty crazy. Now, this doesn't affect everyone. Not everyone's always aware of everything. But this is definitely the biggest downside to the version synchronization for global players. However, the benefits are obviously, you know, quite good as well. They can spend more time on the celebrations in general, because they're not now trying to, you know, work on 2 different schedules. Hopefully it means that we get a lot more hype as well, because we have the same units at the same time, the same content at the same time, and also then we don't have these weird differences between the versions as well. There are some other things that could also disappear. For example, Global sometimes gets exclusive discounts and tickets. Will these continue when JP and Global synchronize? It's difficult to say, because obviously the versions will then be the same. It's a little bit, you know, interesting from that regard. Now, in terms of like everything else, the real question is, when will it happen? So in terms of when it will happen, I think ideally they probably would want to have it done before Japan's next anniversary. Alternatively, they can let Japan's next anniversary go and then try and push Global's Annie up and do it by Saiyan Day in March at the first joint celebration afterwards. But we'll see. I have a hunch it will be JP's anniversary. I have a hunch Global will join in there, and it will be the first joint anniversary for both versions. I think there's also other considerations that we need to bring to the table. You know, when we look at what obviously we discussed, you know, the pros and cons, but there's also, if they are going to push the two versions together, what does Global lose in the way of campaign stones? And I think personally for me, I am willing to give up campaign stones to a certain extent here. I think losing 100 or 200 stones in the long run isn't a major issue. I think, for me, a lot of the times it comes down to whether the exchange is worth the loss. So losing 100 or 200 stones is fine if that means we're going to go into a period of really awesome hype and the quality is going to go up. If we get, I'd love to get more units. I'd love to get more extreme units. I'd love to get more big time units. I'd love to get more banner units, or higher quality on those units. Because if you're going to sync up the versions and reduce the workload, which is fine, of course, I think there should hopefully be a positive outcome in terms of quality. Not to say that their quality is bad right now, but hopefully it takes another step forward, and in the long run we have a better game for it as well. But yeah, realistically speaking, it's going to happen. I do hope they do give a bit of a warning beforehand, especially if they're going to sync up at the next anniversary. That would be interesting, but I hope they give a warning beforehand, because it is going to be difficult for global if they go from the worldwide celebration into the Tanabata, into superheroes, into New Year's, into JP Annie. That'll be pretty hectic on global players, especially on their stone count. But yeah, so we'll see. But I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on what's going on. Love to hear what you guys think about the version sync. And yeah, give me your thoughts on how they could do it. But I'll see you guys next time. Bye.